Chapter 16. An absolute demand for revolution is before us at this day and time, for there is a demand for a progressive step in the line of treating disease. We have been satisfied by the results obtained and became strictly dominated by form each day, repeating what we have done. Our hands are far ahead of the position that should be regulated by thought. For a number of days I have been haunted by the feeling that we are in danger of getting in a rut unworthy of higher consideration than should fall to mere imitation. Let us not be governed today by what we did yesterday, nor tomorrow by what we do today, for day by day we must show progress. In early days we made hundreds of moves of muscles and parts of the systems. Some we cured and some we did not. Which did the good and which the harm, we could not tell. Still we allowed ourselves to be proud of the great percent of cures that we obtained under this system of hit and miss. At the head of our column we carry a flag of progress, and should honor it with greater results by better applications of the principles of osteopathy. We must avoid the dust of habit. We must so adjust our telescopes that we may set our compass to run the stars of greater magnitude that shine from the breast of the exacting of infinite. He himself cannot succeed without a close observation of the laws of success, which are uncompromising and absolute. If so, we should never move a bone, muscle, ligament, or nerve with a view of healing the afflicted, but move at such time and place as uncompromising demands, order, and enforce. To make the sick well is no duty of the operator, but to adjust a part or whole of the system that the rivers of life may flow in and irrigate the famishing fields. We should stop and consider at the point of irrigation how often the mains should be opened to supply the ditches, how long the sun of life should shine upon that crop, to do its duties of nourishing and vitalizing them according to the individual demands. I have said to heal the sick is a duty that belongs to another division of operators, and not to hewers of timber nor muscles of force, but to the rivers of life only. To irrigate too much is as detrimental as too little or not at all. How much is the all-important question to solve. The kind and quantity must be supplied at the right time and place only. If this fluid be in the brain, open the rivers and they will expel all driftwood, unkindly substances, and proceed at once to the duties of their division, which is life with all its harmony. That division is law and life itself. Cause and effect are perpetual. Cause may not be as large in the beginning in some cases as others, but time adds to the effect until the effect overbalances cause, and the end is death. Death is the completed work of development of the sum total of effect to a finished work of nature. I only ask of the reader to carefully note the different and continued change in effect as additional elements enter the contest and give effect to ascendancy. Two or more elements added may cause pain. One may be acid. Add fibrin and you may get adhesion. Add sugar and you may have gall and ease in place of pain, simply by the vital or gall principles found at the origin of the gall-producing nerves in the brain. Therefore, when we are suffering from the effect of delays in cardiac nerves to forward blood in sufficient quantities to supply cervix, we have as cause of such pain simply too feeble motion to start blood to an action of its latent vitality. Thus you have quantity and quality minus motion to the degree of heat by which magnetism can begin the work of vital repairs or association of the principles of the crude elements of nature and construct a suitable superstructure in which life can only dwell. When perfect harmony is not found in forms and function, then we lack speed in the magnetic motion, and get by such inaction in electric action which only enters to conduct the actions of compounding the elements of active destruction by electricity is generated by the motor nerves of death. In this you have death by electricity with all its active powers, self-armed from the laboratory of nature, which is both the action of life by magnetism and death by the eternal motor power of all worlds and atoms. As we are not willing to attribute to deity anything but perfection, and would be highly offended at anyone who would not even hint at such ideas, we must see that our acts are in line with our words, not only in a general phraseology that his works prove his perfection, but we must see and know that his works of animal is partly a failure before we are justified in our conclusion. To assist his man to subdue even a fever by the use of a drug of any kind. We should be very careful not to allow our actions to place us on the disk of the brilliant sun of indisputable contradiction. Contradictions in man are bad enough, and occasionally we prove some cross lines in his stories by his acts and deeds. Who could, even if he should try, prove a trace of failure or neglect in the completeness of the work of God, in any part of that masterpiece of architecture, man, when finished by his hand in his own likeness and image, and by himself pronounced very good? Is he a judge? What is his opinion worth? Would he call an incomplete job even good, or be so deceptive as to say very good, and know it was not true? Does not a man of reason see he must find failure in the machinery of man before he is justified to give suggestions of amendments to the works of the architect who designed the machine and set it running in order? I have something to tell you of the wonderful process of building which mentally I have seen going on. Now do not credit me with too much excitement or weakness of mind, O ye philosophers, astronomers, divines, teachers, and lawmakers, but follow me for a few minutes while I draw your minds out to such extent that you can both see and hear the remarkable work that I am to report. The commander of my store of wisdom has for once called a halt, as I view one of the most mysterious and beautiful sights of my life, the working of the grand architect and his subordinates on a bone, human in kind, ephemer by name. Draw your mental microscope, raise it to its greatest power as you read the specifications for this unique building. Now the orders given by the commanding general to his subordinates. Attention, officers, infantry, and cavalry. Fall into line, ye workmen, and proceed to execute with mathematical precision every block and every stringer, uniting with minute exactness. Let your work be correct, faultless, for the specifications require a construction so carefully done that though the infinite mind became for a time a subcommittee man to examine your work, it would be found that you have fulfilled the requirements of the specification demanding the building of a thigh bone, perfect in all its material and mental parts. Ever remember that the word perfect means no more and no less than the fiat of God that his work has been concluded with absolute exactness? Behold with me the division commanders, each in place bearing the insignia of his rank. The commanding general speaks positively to the ordnance department. Fill and keep the magazine of force and motion supplied with that which is chemically pure and needful to the building up of this wonderful structure, which is only part of the superstructure commonly called man. All orders are given in silence and obeyed without a murmur. Every subordinate comes with that which is necessary for construction, and the masons, corpuscles of this work, go forth with pleasure to execute the design of their superior, knowing, and their work will be carefully examined, and their lives will pay the forfeit in case of failure to fulfill all requirements. The commanding general says to each subordinate, carry your burden and deposit it in workmanlike style. The well-trained army proceeds with the atoms as selected by the divine inspector, and no more care is expended in the selection than is expected to be shown in depositing them in and on the